Hi guys, good evening. Back again on Friday 8 p.m. show, decoding of millennial mariners. It's been very interesting discussions all this time that we had with a lot of mariners, a lot of young mariners, plus the some of the college professors, and the team which is trying to decode this millennial mariners is of the opinion that this needs to be taken somehow to the maritime training institutes and thus make some difference to the learnings and teachings that are done to the cadets in maritime training institutes. So here with me
Hello,
again,
sir.
the famous Captain Debashish Basu now. He also become an Insta personality. Huh? So,
I'm not gaining
it's
much
up to you if
followers.
you want to
I don't
become
know.
a.
You have to force your followers to follow my Insta feed as well, because it's almost been 8 weeks, and it's hardly any increase. But
We
anyways,
don't want to get a dopamine. We are against dopamine, Devashish. So we are not into dopamine at all. No followers. We just want the content to get across, and that is more. I'm
absolutely.
adding going to add Shubham
Yeah.
Thakur, and Shubham Thakur is a very interesting young person who is in the third year of engineering, and he's
Uh-huh.
from MERI Mumbai campus. I'm just going to invite him. And
Yeah.
let's take discussions forward because I got another meeting at 8:30 today. So we got to be
Right.
really sharp for 8:30 because
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
and here comes the Shubham.
Hi.
Shubham Thakur is a very young man. Hi Shubham.
Hello, sir.
Hi. There's no interview of yours, so don't get tensed and all that.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So there are two captains talking to one budding engineer, you know. And it's all going to be about the learnings and learning for us, in fact, not for you. But because you are only learning in your maritime training institute, so this is the show, Shubham, about decoding millennial mariners. I don't know if you have
Yes.
seen the past shows, but idea is to talk to the young people like you, also the people who teach in MTIs, so understand as to what is the kind of millennial traits that you have, and which can basically make us learn something about your generation. So the learning becomes effective, the training becomes effective and easy, and more than that, the mutual the generation gap gets filled up by not by differences of learning, but a kind of deliverables which are met. So I was asking Debashish last time, if you heard the show, as to what we can do best to take this training to the maritime training institutes, and he had a fantastic meeting with one of the leading institutes in India, and he was very enthusiastic in saying that yes, lot things can be done, lot things can be changed, lot things can be basically improved in the learning, as long as the efficiency and as long as easy delivery goes, and that he shared last time. Now I would leave the floor to Devashish for a few minutes to explain you also, and then we will ask you some few questions about your learnings and what you would like to learn and things like that to draw out some conclusions about the millennial mariner. Devashish, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, we have been discussing this for quite a few weeks now, that about the traits and the behavioral patterns of the younger generation, uh, especially those who are coming out of college, going to join the ship, or have joined the ship, and then from a technological world, a world full of technology everywhere around you. They have come to a place where we are a little bit like an island with some specific rules, because when you join a ship, there are different rules, there are different sort of a mindset which you have to get into. That's all fine, but the discussion has been primarily on how to gel our teaching methods, teaching techniques to gel with the mindset of the younger generation, which they already have, like being tech savvy or having less patience or having less attention span. So what can we do? And I believe that a lot of the, I mean, a number of things have to be taken from the, they call it the deduction from first principles. What that means is what we normally do over the course of our lives, we set different patterns that, okay, this one works like this one works like that. And that pattern recognition actually helps us also because it doesn't force us to imagine everything new in a new manner. You have to do so many things throughout the day. If you have to decipher and try to figure out each and everything, it will be very difficult. So you get up in the morning and automatically you turn on the light or whatever you do, and then you go for take your toothbrush and start brushing. This is like a pattern which you have set to your life. You don't have to figure out and you don't have to think of everything every day. But in that process, we start setting a pattern for each and everything that we do. So maritime training has been set in a certain pattern for many years, and people don't reimagine this. We need to reimagine it now. Now we have to go back to our first principles, that is what we know that is true. So from there, we build our logic up and then we have to try and reimagine a lot of things in maritime training so that it is more interesting, more effective. End of the day, if it works, that's the only certificate that you need. If it works means if we can devise a system of training which makes the person more effective in real life, in when he or she joins the ship, if they are more effective in their jobs, that is what is needed. And for that, we cannot go in a large extent to what we have been doing for the last 25 years or 30 years. More or less, we have been doing the same thing when it comes to maritime training. A lot of innovation is going on, but those are exceptions. Now, the innovations have to be the norm because the new kind of training has to be the norm if we have to make it effective. That is the whole point of the discussion. And yeah, I mean, I later during the discussion, I'd like to give a very nice example from Elon Musk, how he imagines, because he's one of the most innovative minds of today's day and age, how he imagines the discovery from first principle and how we can, benefit from that. So over to you. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. What's your name again, Shiva?
So, Shubham Thakur.
Shubham. Yes.
Shubham is a part of the core committee of Sabita, and he has really, that's where the young mind comes in play. Shubham, I want to ask you one question.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, you must have done your first year in college in Mary, and
yes,
some part of second year as well.
Yes,
and
sir.
thereafter you've been learning online. Okay. So first year you were in classroom, and second year you are in online, right?
Yes, sir. Partially
so where
online,
do you
partially classroom.
partially classroom, partially online in second year, and third year now to completely online, right?
Yes, sir.
So where is the disconnect that you found in the classroom learning to online learning? Let's take that forward first.
So, if we talk about the classroom learning part, it is somewhere like where we all know that a physical presence is something which matters a lot. Like if we talk about any big mergers, if we talk about any big deals, any big mergers, if we talk of big corporate houses, any big meetings, it is in person.
Okay.
Like that is the impact that the physical presence has. And moreover, if we talk about online classes, yes, they are good, we are able to learn, but the connect that we have with our professors when we are in the classrooms with them, asking more and more questions, interacting, it's not just the voice or the uh, like communication. We know it is of various types. It's not just the oral one. There's a body language communication, and everything, all aspects of communication are included when we are in class. But when we talk about online, then maybe due to bandwidth issues, there are certain issues that we are not able to see each other, we just hear voices. So that is one part which matters a lot. And if we talk about like a classroom teaching, when we learn in classroom, like suddenly it's as the interaction level, the level of communication is more. There are instances when the professors who are highly experienced on board training and all, so they like they give us experience, they tell us stories which are more important to learn the actual aspects when we go onto the ships. So that is something
Okay.
I feel.
Okay, good. So you mean to say that the physical presence of a teacher in the class, it mattered to you, and which was something which was missing in the online learning. Now we are
Yes.
looking at taking it to the next level where there is the absence of teacher. Okay,
Yes, sir.
because millennials are something which are looking at learning things through the use of technology. Like I mean, like you said, a very important word you just said, storytelling. Now storytelling is one of the methodology which has been used for ancient times. I mean, my grandparents have been telling me the stories when I was young. Any good speech today, if you see in any good program, the orator will always start with a story. And the storytelling does
Yes, sir.
matter in attracting attention of a crowd and keeping them engaged. Now, the basic storytelling tool, which has now become a tool, which was a trait earlier of a speech, which has become a tool now because there is a questionable attention span with the millennial. So, do you feel as a millennial kid, or you are probably a Gen Y kid, or maybe a Gen X kid, but do you feel that your attention span is reducing or is reduced already, or do you feel that your elder brother or cousin brother, they have more attention span than you? Do you feel that
So
way?
not exactly. It's not exactly that way, because it's more about the will to, like if I'm willing to do something, I'll be more attentive in that thing. Like I won't like we sit and we watch a 3-hour movie, our attention does not go anywhere. But if we talk about similarly a smaller span of time of something which we don't like to do, then obviously our attention will deter from whatever we are focusing on.
Okay,
So
so I
it's
take I take your will is equal to interest. Okay,
yes, sir.
I take your will is equal to interest. So you want to
Yes, sir.
see, you want to say that if the lectures are interesting, even if they're online. Now let's go. Devashish, allow me for another 2 minutes, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Now this interesting thing, this interest, developing the interest or remaining engaged because of the interest, it comes from where? Does it come from your liking? Does it come from your need? Does it come from your want? Like what does it come from? Like you always see it's
Yes, sir.
somebody's calling you over a party, a friend, and you don't want to go because you don't like that person, so you're not interested. You won't go. You won't go for a party. But somebody calls you and say, yeah, sure, let's go for a movie here. And you really like the friend and you want to go for a movie. Your interest is there, you know. So you definitely go 3-4 hours with a friend, but you don't go to somebody's house for a 1 hour party also because you're not interested. So this interest basically comes out of kind of a like
Yes.
liking towards the person in the land. But in studies you don't know subject at all, you know so the liking develops. How does it develop? I mean, you think the need will play a part because अरे यार वो इंजीनियरिंग सब्जेक्ट है, वो इंजीनियरिंग नॉलेज सिखा रहा है तो अभी पढ़ना पड़ेगा यार, बॉयलर है तो क्या हो गया, है ना, तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा अभी, तो यार अटेंड करना पड़ेगा, लेक्चर मार्क्स है, चलो अटेंडेंस है, दिस काइंड ऑफ कंपल्शंस. So we are not free thing. Like, don't want compulsions to play a part here. The compulsions make you, kill your interest, kill your will, and make you do things. But if you're a free person, you want to say Professor XYZ lecture, topic you don't like at all, and you are willing, you have to study, but I mean, but you have a choice. Attendance का लफड़ा नहीं है. करो करो ना करो ना करो. So will you attend? I mean, will you attend a physical lecture or will you attend a lecture if the same lecture is made more interesting by some other way?
So obviously, like if the lecture is more interesting in some other way, I would go for that, because at the end of any lecture, all we aim at is to learn something. So sitting
Correct.
somewhere just for the sake of being there is not exactly what we aim at. If I get to learn more when I'm in any online class, then obviously I'll prefer that online class rather than any class which is physical, but I have no interest in that class. So obviously, where the interaction, interest, and the ideas and the class is more interactive or interesting, I would personally like to be in that sort of learning process.
Okay, good, good. There's another tool which comes in play when you are, talking to teaching millennials is basically a video, kind of a video plays, like YouTube, or I mean, any video making. So anybody who makes a video, animated video, normal video, plain video, good voice, I mean, could have some girls in the video as well, so to develop the interest of the people, like there were safety movies in my time where they had the female partners, showing you safety checklist and where this thing. People used to interestingly see, अरे यार, so देखते हैं कोई नया face है ना? Then it came to animated movies, animated movies came. Animated people were showing the how to do the safety practices on board, how to don a SCBA, how to do this, I mean, even the engine room watch keeping and all that. So people became interested in that. So what is your liking towards so you when you watch a movie, you take care of the content more, or you are more impressed with the presence of the screen, picture? What is with you?
So I feel that more effective is the content, but yes, the presentation also is considered till some part, but the more important aspect is content. But having good content and not being able to present it is also something that can lead to the other way. But yes, having good content is something which is more important.
Very good point. Now, just one more question on the presentation. Now, do you want to see presentation in the mode that you like, or which is decided by everybody else as the best deliverable? Like I'm talking to you now, I have my own voice. My own voice box is different than anybody else, and I got a little more bass voice. So so I speak in the particular style of talking. You may not like my voice, that's for sure. I mean, but the content is like DG overall. So I'm going to teach you something which is very pertinent about the about the cylinder head overall, which is very important for you to know. So that content hunger might keep you engaged for 2-3 minutes, but then delivery is not good. So you may not. So presentation is a personal thing, like I always feel that it is not a consensus democratic thing. Everybody likes the presentation of this man, so it's good. Everybody might say कि I am a good orator. That's fine. But you may not like my oratory style. You might think that कि यार ये तो थोड़ा कहानी ज़्यादा सुनाता है ना, ठीक नहीं है बंदा, है ना? So that is also there, right? So the exact point is that, so if there are options given, like in multimodal transport we say, if the option is given to a transporter to use the multi-modes, so he will always go for a cheaper, better, efficient option. A truck can reach in 10 hours, rail can reach in 8 hours, and a flight can go in 1 hour. So the mode is chosen by the customer depending upon the efficiency of mode. So if you are given a choice, if you want a story sunne ka hai, I want to hear a story about boiler. Let me switch on to the storytelling app and go and listen to a boiler story. Or you want to say, I want to see a exactly overall video here. How do they change that fuel indicator of the DG generator? Let me see that myself. So you go back and go to the required minute and play the video where the engineer is, another person is showing you, instructor is showing you that. So the choice is given to you, to millennial. They should be able to switch upon and not forced, because it is not about that. Today you have attendance, today you have exams, today you have career ahead of you. So you are learning. It is possible that learning is not effective at all. And when the learning is not effective, you got to learn for 5 times, to get a good marks. So your efforts are more. So we are looking at, by teaching millennial mariners in different ways, reduce the efforts of teachers. Like if the methodology what Debashish Basu is trying to develop is of this, that it should be able to replace teachers. It should be replace them. So you can have kind of a switching on and off between the modes of delivery, and that is where the millennial learning comes in play. Devashish, is it right? I mean,
Yeah. So very interesting discussion. I mean, and I must say, Shubham's replies are absolutely bang on. Very smart replies. So it makes it very clear as to what he intends and what he's aiming to say. Now that is, I would like to go back a couple of minutes and just clarify a few things here. Now, when we talk about digital education, I would not say it is to replace the teacher. No. It is sort of to ease the teacher's role in certain aspects and increase his role in certain other aspects. For example, in what we were discussing in the last discussion, that if we have a class of 40 students and a lecturer comes and explains something, it is absolutely not possible that all the 40 understood the subject equally. Right. This is an acceptable
Yes.
conclusion. Now, if we can decipher, instead of going for the repetitive action of the lecturer, which is that every day he has to come and explain and same thing, if we can automate that part, if we can make that automated, but if we bring out the discrepancy between who understood more and who understood less, and then help the people who understood less, this is where the teacher comes in. Now the teacher has to be actively involved in that. And what the teacher now does, instead of going for the repetitive action of saying the same lecture, which we can automate, which we can digitize, instead of that, helping the weaker student to get as confident as the A student, because no matter how good you do in your college, when you go on the ship, the weak student also has to perform, the smart student also has to perform. They both will have the same responsibility, they will get the same salary, and you cannot say, no, I did not understand this subject completely, so I cannot perform, because you're getting damn paid for it. No one in the world will say that, okay, sorry, you got only 60%. No problem. Your responsibility is a little less. Oh, you got 90%. You have to take full responsibility of the ship. It doesn't work like that. In the real world, everyone has to give their 100% and everyone has to be at their 100%. There is no exception. So, why not use the digital methods? Now, we have two different segments over here. The system of education is completely different when you talk about shore-based institutes. Shore-based maritime institutes, they have the option to bring in a teacher, or they have the option to bring in digital education also. And when you go on board, the education is almost completely digital if you think about training, or it is from your mentors, from your seniors. Now, the seniors very often do not act as your mentors. Very often it is practical that you might have a senior who is not interested to teach you, who doesn't have the time, who has a language barrier, and we have spoken about this many times. They can have cultural clash. You may not like him, he may not like you. You may not like his style of teaching, he may not like your style of hearing. And there are so many different, and no one is signing a contract like that, that okay, in general it is accepted that the seniors must teach the juniors. That is an accepted norm. But if the senior has something else to do, for sure he's going to do that, he or she is going to do that and not spend time in teaching you. So practically, if you have to fall back on digital methods when you are on the ship, or you have to be really lucky to get a very good senior who is very, very efficient and interested also to impart his or her knowledge to you. Now, when we come to shore-based training, I would say that what we can do as creators of digital education, what we can do is that we can merge, we can do a very nice math calculation and merge with the system of, sort of online. I mean, the online system can merge very well with the practical teaching and the presence of the teacher. Once the pandemic is over, probably people will come back to normal life. But even then, the digital education can very well help and ease off a lot of burden from the teacher who is present and trying to impart some knowledge to you, because it can make it more interesting. It can make it, and one other thing I want you to realize is that if you have learned anything, I mean, if you have gone into YouTube, for example, to learn something, you want to learn something about, let's say you're wearing this headphone and you want to learn about the headphone. Maybe you want to buy it. Okay. Before you buy, you are researching which headphone should I buy. Now you want, what do you look for in that video which you are going to see? You look for two things essentially. Okay, it has to be a review of the headphone. If you're comparing the headphones, so it has to be a review of the headphone, of course. But you will look for number one, is it liked by a lot of people? Has many people appreciated this? So basically, you're trying to assess if the content is good, if the content is reliable. So that is number one. If people have not liked the video, you will probably not watch it. It may be a lot of reasons. Maybe the sound was bad, presentation was bad, the information was bad. Whatever the reason, you don't have time to think anymore. You will go to the next video. This is the one thing. And the other thing you will look at is that it is not taking too much of your time. I mean, you don't want a 1 hour video. You just need 2 or 3 minutes to explain the different kind of headphones, and so that I can understand which one I should buy. It's a small decision for you, and you don't have the whole world, I mean, all the time in the world to learn about it. You have 2 or 3 minutes which you can allocate. So in that 2 or 3 minutes, if you remember, your attention is at the peak. You are listening to every word, everything that the person is saying. That 2 or 3 minutes is holding your attention because you're interested and you want to really know about that topic. Take the same example when you are going to work on board. You want to do something today, and you don't want a whole lecture on all the education systems, and you want everything that you have to know. No, you just have one job today. That is, let's say you want to learn about the lead machine, or you are going to do an enclosed space entry, and you want to learn the precautions. And I'm telling you, very practical onboard jobs. If we can develop something which is completing that education in a matter of 5 minutes, instead of taking 1 hour of your time, you will be paying attention for that 5 minutes. So if I continue the same discussion for 1 hour, 100% you will not pay attention after 10 minutes. Maybe after 5 minutes, your attention will go away, which has been happening with on our shipboard videos for quite some time. But if we can like make short, crisp, clear, and educational videos which are very short, the short part is important, then we can hold the attention of
Can you all hear me? Hello.
Sir was not audible for a while. Like, yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I think
yes, Devashish. I mean, what you said is absolutely right. I mean, I'm sure Shubham will agree because he has been in the in the center of learning, and he also knows that I mean, any video, even a WhatsApp forward you see, we see how many minutes it is, and how much time we have. We are driving a car. We have a signal, stop at signal, something 1 2 minutes we can see. Video is 20 minutes. We say, I'll go home and see. There's no time now. So depending upon the person, more than that, with the millennial, it pays state of mind. Depending on a state of mind you are in, you are fresh, you want to attend classes, you could sit for it, like in a binging of movies. You are in the mood. Today is Sunday or Friday night, Saturday night. You would binge an entire 4 5, episodes of one, series, a net series, and watch it because you have time in hand. You're in. But sometimes when the state of mind is not right, it's just that yeah, for 12, 13 minutes, I mean, forget it, yeah. That's just about the micro learning and, information given to you, bits and pieces. It's a short capsule. You watch for 2 minutes, you go ahead. Watch for 2 minutes, you go ahead. And again, come back when you have time again next time. Like, you want to suppose, you want to do some overall. You don't need to see the entire, the history of how the machinery was created and things like that. You need to overall compressor. You just want to know what I should do first. I do these 3 steps first. You watch that, you cut it off. That's your learning, and that video shows you how it is done. So it is as good as you are putting yourself into it. Like this Xbox thing came, which used to put the person into the game directly. There is no game happening. You're just standing in front of TV camera and doing like this. Like I used to play TT always. I like TT very much. So in my home, I used to always play that. But I used to really be amazed. There is no TT table. There is no TT ball. There is no racket. Nothing. But it gives me an entire satisfaction if I concentrate myself only onto a TV. Bigger TV I had, more the experience was like. So that kind of putting. So Devashish, I mean, yes, I mean, it was good to call Shubham today
and
because we
and
could
and
understand
I
a few
just
things.
and I think you are
Go
almost
ahead.
finished with your time, Mike. But I just want to leave with one thought over here that how what I was saying about the principles, reducing things from the first principles. That first we understand what we know. One thing we know for sure is that the present education system has to be improved if we need to improve the standards of the seafarers which we are getting on who we are getting on board. I'm not saying they're bad, but there were schools in my city which used to take only A students. If you want to get into the school, you have 90% requirement. So you're taking A students. Obviously, from the other side, A students are coming out. Like you are not adding much value to it. But our profession is one profession where we allow even a person with 60% or an average IQ to enter, and then we have to have them perform at a highest level, highest international level. Our work culture on board, I would say a properly maintained ship is one of the high standards of work culture that you can get anywhere in the world. So if you take average people and you want to bring them to that level, your education system has to be absolutely fantastic. It has to bring up even the poorer students to that level. So there is no negotiation here that okay, a person can understand 50% or 60%, and it is not acceptable. In our profession, it is not, because the person will be. And the example which I said, which I mentioned about Elon Musk is he someone told them that when he was trying to design battery operated cars, he said that I mean everyone told him that no, batteries are very expensive. You cannot possibly have a battery which is economical, and you can that was the sort of the norm. So what he did is he deduced the elements of the battery. What is a battery made of? Nickel, aluminium, carbon. You need a box to put it inside. So if you evaluate the elements one by one, if you evaluate the elements, the cost of the element is almost one-tenth the cost of the battery. So he could make a battery pack with that much cost effectiveness, which is eventually he transferred into Tesla, and now it's a global company. Everyone wants to now people want to buy Tesla with bitcoins and stuff. So I mean that is the value of innovation. We have to see what we have here on one side, and then from that what we can make. Because most of the time what we do is we try to modify our existing system a little bit here and there, and we call that it is innovation. That is not innovation. Innovation is something which would make sense, and it can be, we can still do it. That is the kind of work which my company is doing, and a lot of other companies are doing as well. So that's what I meant by reducing from the first principles. That's an inspirational story for me, so I wanted to share that. I think we are already,
Yeah,
time
already
is,
I got another link to join the because tomorrow is
oh yeah, yeah,
that IMO model board competition, and we also have a formation of working group which is going to make a presentation at the end of competition. So the TK Sahu Sahab is already there. Ajay Chaudhary is
right.
already they are there online. So anyway, guys, thank you, Shubham. Thank you for joining at the last minute call because I was trying to get somebody in surprise for Devashish today, and that's why I got you in to discuss this because he's in third year and he has done that first 1.5 year in offline and then online education. So thank you, Shubham. Thank you for joining, and definitely we'll connect with you again.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir. Thank you,
Devashish.
sir.
Again,
Thank you so
we
much,
have got
sir.
some
Thank you, as
inputs, and
always.
we
Yeah.
have taken we have to take this forward to the real maritime training as such. So there are very good words coming from maritime. You will say that it's a good program because lot of ideas and knowledge for a fair future for seafarers. I mean,
Right.
that's one thing which is happening. We are striving to do that, definitely. Okay, guys, I think we'll end this show here today. Sorry for the cutting short the things. Yeah, thanks, Shubham. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Good
much.
night, sir.
Bye. Yeah, thank you, guys. I had to rush. It's been a very busy day for me as well. With the EAC meeting on blue economy, and then evening another meetings, and now still going on with my Marpol team. So thank you so much. I'll see you again tomorrow probably for a short live on the Sanipta. Thank you so much. Bye bye.